Welcome to the Invincible Innovation Show, the podcast for changemakers. Each week, I talk to the most fascinating entrepreneurs and innovation leaders about innovation, strategy, and design. Hey everyone, so happy to see you. Today we're going to talk about tech, innovation, startup, and much more. Is going to be really interesting. Welcome to Invincible Innovation Live Show. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Mazor, Kario, innovation and value creation expert, and I'll be your host. And today my guest is Carlo. Hi, Carlo.
Hi, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm really glad to be here today.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here. Carlo Rivis is the CEO and founder of Innovation Discovery, and he's talking to us from Italy. So it's always a great way to hear the sound. It's like my favorite language ever. So it's great to talk to you. And we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and you're so much invited to join the discussion and ask questions. And now we can start. So, what is the biggest obstacle to innovation?
So, of course, there are several because innovation is a complex matter. So complexity is one of the first, and also time to arrive to something that is really innovative, to discoveries and so on. But in the end, one of the biggest challenges that I saw in all the sectors and all the fields around and so on, and also with companies and also regular people, unfortunately, is the mindset of the people. So because innovation is also change, you need to change to innovate. You need to adapt to new solutions, new technologies, and so on. And people and companies don't like too much the changes. It's because is fearing. So you have normally are afraid to make some changes in your life and in your routine and so on. And this slow down a lot the innovation propagation in the world. If you think about what exists today in the world, how many innovative solutions, how many new technologies exist today is unbelievable. We could really live in a sci-fi movie today if we start adapting everything that already exists outside. But most of the companies and most of the people are still are still using obsolete technologies.
Yeah.
And so if we find the way to overcoming the mindset, to be more adaptable, to embrace the changes in our life, in the company and so on, we will really see a strong and a fast change in our daily life and also in the company life.
Yeah. But would you say that it's hard to change and, of course, to embrace change, especially when there are so many other changes in the world? There's so many things moving fast in general, and right now in the pandemic, even more.
But you know that pandemic has shown, for example, the difficulties for a human being to adapt to the virtual life. For example, with in particular in the work routine. So and took a lot of time for a lot of people to start working remotely at home in front of a computer using live conferences and so on to be really effective on these. If we and this is start from everything, from also from the daily life. If you want to change your routine, if you want to change your for just a work, for example. People are afraid to change a work. And so if you are afraid to change a work, how you can really embrace a new technology that must you act in a totally different way. So also if it's more effective or more efficient to you. And companies is the same. It's an ecosystem that when you change also a small part of it, this request changes in all the levels and in the entire companies. And it's not easy at all for the people changing this kind of mindset. So you need to start working on this inside the companies, helping all the sectors to make this mindset more adaptable and say, okay, we need to change all the days. So every month we need to introduce a small changes to help the mindset to become more flexible on this.
Yeah. When I think about things that my kids, I have 4 kids, and I always think about the same thing. What do they know, and what do they need to know in order to be in the future? And I think the change is something that they will surely need to get used to. And if we're thinking about a fast changing world right now, they will have even a faster changing world as I see it. So just changing the way that you see things, the way that you operate in the world is so important. And you see in companies that they're like, I know, several companies, very big ones, usually tech ones, who are innovating all of the time. And most of the other companies are not really changing. Maybe startups are doing the change, but the big, like medium companies are moving really, really fast. So why do you think they are not doing it? Like they could do it. Let's say some of the people could have these like the changing mindset, and still it's not getting forward.
Because there are, in my opinion, two different mindsets inside the company. So a lot of large companies, normally above 1,000 people, has an innovation departments in place, and they
Right.
are performing a lot of technology scouting, technologies and innovation activities, and so on. But sometimes then the final decision is in charge of a business unit, of the CEO and the innovation and business has two different approaches, because business must get money and cash flow and so on, growth in the short time. Innovation needs a long time, needs failures to become real. And so these two different mindset is not aligned between each others. And
Mhm.
this is something that is slowing down a lot of companies, because they looking for the mid-term goals, objectives, and not in the long run. But if you go into the statistics, for example, uh, in the forecast is that in the next 10 years, 40% of the Fortune 500 companies will vanish because
Wow.
they don't innovate enough. And this is based on what already happened from the 1955 until now. And this is starting going really fast today, because if you don't innovate today, you're out of a business. You must innovate to stay on track and make your business grow, because otherwise someone else will do it for you and will overcoming you and become a leader in the market.
Yeah. So what are the challenges that innovation leaders are facing these days?
So we are in an amazing time for technology and for innovate, because yes, the startup environment boosts a lot, the innovation, the discoveries. Internet helps in getting a lot of information about everything, so you can really reach experts all around the world. uh, but what is hard today is understanding in which direction we should go in the next years, because we are overwhelmed by information. So there are too many information, so too much big data around, and unfortunately not always that they are available. So this means that there are jargon language for the marketing, buzzwords, false promising, and all this kind of stuff make really hard to understand on what we must be focused as a company for the next years. And also when we found that, it's hard to identify sometimes the proper match between the problem that we are solving, the technologies outside, and find, okay, we have a solution. This is the solution that we want to focus on for the next 2-3 years. And if you find also that one, so if you overcome also this issue, in the end, you have to rely on the people and the company that has to use these technologies and buy this technology. And based on the previous answer about the mindset, maybe you have found the perfect answer to the problem, the perfect technology, but the people are not ready to use that, because the
Yeah.
mindset is not ready to adapt all this kind of solution.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to pushing into the market a solution, also if it's much efficient, less costly, and so on, to be adapted in the short run to be effective for the company, to have a return for the company and to make it survive.
Yeah. So I thought about what you said about the mindset, and I thought about culture, because like you come from Italy, and I'm very interested to hear, how do you think the Italians are in the way they think and their culture and everything is affecting the innovation, the startups scene in Italy?
Oh, that's a bad question.
Let's skip it.
No, we can go. No, in Italy, sometimes, or most of the time, the changes arrive really from the bottom. So we have a lot of issues at the government level, because our bureaucracy machine is extremely slow. So also when you have good ideas in the government, before these can become laws and actable in real life, takes so much time that is old at that age that become on the market,
Yeah.
arrive to the market. We have a lot of bright minds in Italy, so we are really creative. This is, happens with the food, with the fashion, and this happens also today with the science. Unfortunately, the ecosystem around don't sustain properly all this mindset. And so we have a lot of brain that go to the foreign countries to find the right ecosystem to make it happen. And this you can see also in the richest companies in Italy, in comparison, for example, with the US. Top companies in the US are technology companies.
Right.
So
In Israel too, right?
Yeah. In Italy, not. It's food companies.
Food.
Food,
Yeah,
fashion
you have good
companies.
food. That's why, because your food is really good, not like
Yeah.
ours.
Yes, but if you compare then the income,
Yeah.
what arrive from these companies is not comparable with the tech companies
No.
around the world.
No.
And so this is a picture, a right picture, a fair picture of what is happening here in Italy.
Yeah.
We are not investing too much enough in the ecosystem, innovation technology ecosystem, to make technologies companies emerging and become the leaders also in this market. And they have to go out of Italy to become famous, to get money and so on.
Yeah. Is it the same for the startups? So you have less startups and they will go and find funding from the US, for example, or in other countries from Europe?
Yes, it's the same. We have a lot of startups here, a lot of incubators, accelerators around, and so on. But in the end, if you see the amount of investments that we are performing here is really low in comparison of entire Europe. And we have a lot of pre-seed, seed investments, but Series A is normally is not happening here. You have to go out to see really real money arriving. And this happened a lot of times. So the Italian unicorns started here, but raised the money outside.
So give me an example of an Italian unicorn. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, I have to say, not too much me as well. So I read some articles about, but I working more with external markets. This is also the reason. So I'm an innovator, and I cannot work in Italy a lot. I normally work with external markets, and also with the startup ecosystem. I work a lot with foreign accelerators, because here I can work here also with accelerator as well. But the type of work is different. There are not so many disruptive technologies, disruptive startups coming out, because they are going outside normally.
Yeah, I see. So what you're saying, that it's hard to go to a big or medium big company in Italy and talk to them about technology and about innovation, because it's like it's not that interesting for them, and it's like it's not relevant as they see it.
That they for sure wants to innovate, but today everyone wants to innovate.
Right.
Everyone say that they really wants to innovate, but innovation then is not just a willingness.
Sure.
You must really invest in the specific sectors and don't follow what already exists sometimes. Here we are conservatives. So
Yeah.
if we invest in what we already know that has a chance to survive. So it's more like, the old business. So you have already traction, solid growth. So I start investing on new, but we need to invest more in what could be disruptive, in what could be really innovative in the next 5 years, 10 years, not in what is already innovative in the past world. And we can have
Yeah. Of course.
1, 2, 3x returns in 3 years from
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and another thing that being conservative is being risk averse, and if you want to do something new and innovative, you need to have like you should be ready to fail and to take the risk.
Yes, exactly. You must be that. Otherwise, in my opinion, you are not innovator right now. So you are just okay trying to do a step forward in your regular journey, but you must invest in what will drive the future.
Yeah. So if we just started to talk about being like ready to fail and taking risk, what are the risks, skills, and capabilities that are needed from change makers as you see it?
So, my opinion, there are three main capabilities that I would like to see in the innovators to become effective. One is something that we should teach from school to our kids, is curiosity. You must be
Yeah.
curious about everything. So because the day to day is fast, we really are connected with globally, so we can do whatever we want, so we can learn whatever we want on the internet and so on. You must really teach curiosity to your leaders inside the companies, because if you are too much focused on something, you are losing opportunities, because of course outside your companies are happening so many different things. Also, if you are one of the most innovative today, but could be a startups, could be just an innovator or an inventor, could be also another competitors or not, or someone in another field that is could create something that could be interesting also for you. So you must be curious about the world. The other one is the vision. You must project into the future your vision. Otherwise, you are not an innovation leader. You are just someone that is analyzing what exists today, and connect to this. So you must believe that something could be possible. So today we are going to Mars. We are changing physical laws sometimes. There are so many discoveries in the physics that are changing some laws that we discovered many years ago. We are creating quantum computer. So it's crazy. So you must really believe and become a dreamer of possibilities of what could be possible. And the third one is just a bit more harder to get to get this kind of skills, is able to connecting the dots. So the real innovation is not happening in one sector, in one topic, in one matter today. You have to connect dots between different fields, different technologies, and understanding how different stuff around could be put together to create something unique. And if you have curiosity about the world, it's much easier to connect the dots about a specific solution.
And do you think in a specific company, do you need only the CEO to have these skills, or all the innovation, everyone needs it, or all the C-level, all the management, who needs these? Like you cannot have 100% of these people, I guess, right?
That's true. So for sure, the innovation department must have these kind of people, but you know that you can also train inside your companies most of the people to try to have this kind of skills, because a lot of time for real world problems are identified by the operational staff, not the managers, because they are using technologies and stuff every day. And
Yeah.
so they must be free to underline what could be done to emphasize or optimize a specific routine jobs and so on. And but this culture must be propagated in the entire companies. And of course, it's not possible to have everywhere in the entire companies, but you must try to make this happen in everywhere.
Yeah. Although, as we said, that the number one goal, at least for now, Q1, Q2, Q3 is like the revenues, and some of the people would need to do what the company is usually doing, like the core capabilities. And maybe sometimes they will do something else, but operational excellence and doing better what you're doing right now and all of that. It means that it's like a split between two very, as you said, separate ways of seeing things. What is very right now, the next water, very short term, and the second is very long term. And in general, people don't look at the long term. It's like too many question marks and too many unknowns there. They're doing right now what they need. And sometimes when you're looking too far ahead, it could be very scary, right? Because you don't really know. And I think that as I see people right now, most of them are like daily. It's not even weekly view. It's like, let's see what's going on, like I just talked to a friend, and they have like 2 weeks from now they want to travel, and then she said, oh, maybe it's not a good idea, maybe you should cancel the tickets. Like, and in this daily life, like changing all the time, for sure, for a business, just to imagine what their clients might need in 2 years, 3 years from now, it's like too much.
Yes, but you know that innovation is like an investment portfolio. So you have a smaller risk, middle risk, and high risk. So you have to do in the business, you have to perform this kind of activity. So, okay, we can focus our maybe 60, 70% of activities on the low risk activities. But then you have to take the risk to the low risk and the high risk, the medium risk and the high risk for the future,
right,
in order to grow and to continue to grow. Otherwise, today, it's sure that we will fail.
Yeah.
These are statistics. It's not me. It's something that is already happening today, and happened to large companies in the world.
Yeah, of course. We have a question from Ole. Hi, Ole. And do you see difference between incremental innovation and radical innovation? Thanks, Ole. He was one of my guests, like past, so I really like him. Yeah.
No, but sure, absolutely. So, and today we are really focused. Most of the companies are focused on incremental innovation, and it is totally fine in the short, medium term. That you must continue to working on this kind of on the incremental innovation. Also because the market needs it, the people needs it. So if you're working only on disruptive technologies, people cannot adapt it so fast currently. So it's mind blowing. So it's really impossible to enter the market if you continue to just disrupt the market. But this is for medium term. So for the long term, you must really focus also on at least one disruptive technologies that maybe fail in 2-3 years. You arrive at nothing, but this provides you also a lot of knowledge for your incremental innovations. Because when you start really doing complex stuff, you start creating your network of experts, out of a box thinker, and collecting so many insights from all around the world that helps a lot you in also increasing your incremental technologies so fast and so reliable to become a leader also in that market. And you're ready for the next disruptive technologies. And probably after 2-3 times that you are trying to following a disruptive solutions, you will arrive on that one that will bring you on top of the market. And in the meantime, you continue with the incremental ones to stay where you are and growing organically.
I think that the incremental ones are keeping your clients, your pool of clients right now, the market that you're leading right now, and you're managing to make it bigger and maybe sustain it, and keeping your current clients the way they are now. But they will change and you will need new clients and new markets. And for that, you need to see the future and not only what you have right now. And Ole said that thanks for the question, he was thinking about the needed competencies and governance for that. So it's the different needs for competencies for incremental innovation compared to radical innovation. That's like more additional question to that.
So say again, just about the government, right? Over rules.
Yeah, the rules, the
Yeah,
governance, the way that you manage the company, rules and processes, actually.
Okay, focus on companies or focus on government? Because government is also another issue.
Governance. He said governance.
Okay, governance. Okay,
that's what
he wrote.
Yeah.
Yes, that's for sure is the main issue. You know that we underlined at the beginning. So the mindset of the people, because taking the risk of disruptive technologies is it's hard for companies, because it's hard also for large corporations, for example, track proper KPIs for innovations, because the monetary KPI that is the preferred from the governance appears after 5 years, maybe 10 years sometimes.
Yeah.
And so how can I track properly the innovation roadmap with KPI? For this reason, we need to change the mindset. We need to find a way to adapt our company's culture and say, if we want to stay on the market in 10 years from now, we need to innovate. There is no chance. There is no way, no different ways. There is no escape of that. So, and to blend the mindset of a governance, you can show statistics, data that is already outside. What happens to the Fortune 500 companies in the last century? You must really, and how is who are the top leaders in the different markets? Just who is really innovate concretely, so make the disruptive technologies completely. All the other companies will fail, will disappear in the long run. Once the business units, the governance understood this, you can start the process of a change, to say, okay, let's start softly. We don't need to invest half of our income in disruptive innovations today.
Yeah.
Let's start softly, but let's start, and let's having a plan, a concrete plan that every year we must to invest more and more and more on innovations, on our company culture, in order to make this happen.
Yeah. So we have thank you for that, Ole. We have another question from Kandor Dennis, and she's asking, do you think bootstrapping technology for product innovation should include design thinking processes? So as a design thinker, I would say yes, of course, but I would love to hear what you're thinking.
Yes, we must really change the way we are creating businesses today. And there are already tons of different new methodologies, innovative methodologies around that we can take, and design thinking is one of that. Sometimes that when I read about these methods, it seems to me sometimes already familiar. Because if you start changing your mind and you start really be curious and visionary every day, you start really thinking in different ways, these methods become part of you. It's not a method anymore. So absolutely, we must doing more of this as a training, but in the same way, we don't need to be focused just on this. You must change ourselves and figure out our way to be innovative in our companies. Because I guess that people, the human being, is innovative by nature. So otherwise we will not be here today. So we invented tons of different stuff in the last millennials. So this is because we want to improve our daily life and so on.
Yeah.
But the life today, the daily life today, that provide us everything in an easy way, make us not following this attitude,
Yeah. So what you're saying that design thinking and other processes could help us be more innovative, but actually you need to understand them and take the parts that are relevant for you as a person and for your company in order to really create something that is the best way to innovate for your company or for your team or for your
Mhm.
department, whatever. And these are like tools, only tools, and they are not instead of the mindset or the
E-
governance or any other.
Exactly. That these are tools. So and sometimes we forget the differences between
Mhm.
tools or an attitude.
Yeah.
Because if you create the culture inside the company, the right attitude, tools could be used to improving and to accelerate everything. But if you are
Right.
just providing a tool and not the culture and the attitude, they will
Yeah.
provide just the output of a tool itself without really creating a real change into the company.
Yeah, I've been doing design sprints and then I thinking for I know last 7 years, and sometimes you see in companies they're really in a high after the design sprint and they want to do something and they just take it and place it somewhere, and nothing really goes out of it, really a real thing, a real product. So you expect to have something in tangible in the end, and it's not happening. So what you're saying, I really understand what you're saying, because it's the same thing. If you don't have the attitude of really delivering things and acting in the world and doing something, it's not enough to have this strategy process and that's it. You need to really deliver, and in order to deliver you need to take risk, because having a nice design sprint or investing something which is very minor, it doesn't have any impact in the long run, and in order to have that impact you need to take risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we have another thing, and Kandra is answering us. Thank you for your answer. Tools in design thinking are really important to create change in not just the product but staff attitudes too. Yeah, I totally agree that these are tools that could do that. And Ola is saying you could argue that most innovations are created in times of crisis. Most people like stability and predictability. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yes, and this is part of an unseen problem, because why this should happen in this way? So why just when we are in crisis we find the time and the attitude, the mindset to create something unique or something new? This should be a daily process. So and but also in our
Yeah.
daily life, just also for person, I think it's really important to say that.
Yeah, as a person, you don't need to wait for this big change or big crisis. A crisis is a big, fast change. That's a crisis because you cannot predict and it's really big. So, in general, if you could move your life or your company to the direction that you know for the long run, it's much better for you because things will change if you want or not. This is what's going to happen. So I totally agree to that. And we're almost done with time. We don't have that much, and I have long list of questions, but I will ask you only two last questions.
Sure.
So, what is the most surprising thing you learned about innovation after so many years of experience?
So you know that
Just a minute before we go to that, we
sure.
have suggestions connected to what we said. Maybe there's a way to fake a crisis to push innovation.
Yes, could be a strategy. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Ilan. Is there a way? I thought about it. Like, could you create something which is like, I don't think you can. Can you create a crisis? And crisis comes from it needs to surprise you. It's like you cannot tickle yourself. It's the same thing because it's you expect it, right?
Yes, you know that. But if you're thinking, today we are already in crisis. Most of the companies are in crisis, and they don't even know.
Yeah.
So because the problem with crisis is not that should exist the crisis, but the people must believe that crisis exists. So it's much
Yeah.
harder than just creating a crisis.
Yeah, and Ole is saying that the only safe way to predict future is to create it. So this is how you're avoiding and creative disruption. Thanks, Ole. So we can go back to the question after somebody just talked about what we said. So, what is the most surprising thing you learned? Tell us.
Yeah, one thing that I learned that is also was crazy for me is that normally we use experts to create innovative solutions, but experts have a deep knowledge about what already exists, not about what will exist in the next years. And this, if you think about this, is incredible because we use that one, but normally they turn down a lot of innovative solutions because they didn't know that.
Right.
And so we need more visionary people driving innovation. So people that are able to imagine what doesn't exist today and say, okay, let's find a way to figure it out if it's possible to doing it now. Because in my opinion, today, everything could be possible. There are just two challenges, time and money. So maybe we need 100 years or 1,000 years to arrive at that point, but could be possible to do that. Maybe we need billions to do that and we don't have the money. It's fine. It's a different answer that say, no, it's not possible. And for this reason, normally when I work also in particular with disruptive startups that arrive with a disruptive solution that I maybe cannot evaluate properly because I am not knowledgeable about everything, so in all technologies. And I need experts to evaluate that. So what I'm doing is not asking them, what do you think about the technology itself? Because otherwise they say, no, it's not possible. Maybe they are breaking some rules, then physics rules. No, that's not possible. I'm asking, telling me how this could be possible. What are the circumstances or the technologies? What should happen to make this real? And so everything's changing. The experts has to find a way to make it works.
Yeah. And we have another comment. We like to engage with thought leaders to identify possible innovative solutions. And when we know what we to develop, we look for experts. Yeah, that's all. So when we know what we want to develop, we look for experts after that instead of like in the beginning. Yeah, you're right, Ole. Okay, we have the last question right now, and I want to thank everyone who took part in the discussion, and we have only the last one. So what is your number one tip for innovation leaders?
So here is look beyond innovation. So look where others are not able to see, between and beyond the innovation. Search in other sectors for solutions that could fit your needs. Explore solutions that solve needs related to yours, because the real innovation is cross-reference. So between different things, different market, different technologies. So look for that, and you will be really able to innovate.
Yeah, I think it's related to the way that maybe in the past we thought that we need to explore something very to the end, to research to the end of all the circumstances of a specific topic and to specialize in that. But if you go to what was like, in Leonardo da Vinci, and you will say the word, the name better, right? When you say Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, you said it perfectly. So Leonardo da Vinci. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
you said it better. So the way that they thought was like all over. They wanted to know everything. They wanted to understand the nature of things. And I think that right now we are going back to that, like being a generalist, seeing things on the higher level. And for sure, if you want to see the future, you need to understand all of the circumstances changing the world into that future, and it's related to technology, it's related to cultures and people and politics and everything. But for sure in technology there are things that they are prepared right now and they will be relevant in a year or two or three, and you must know about that for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I want to thank you, Carlo, for your time. It's been such a pleasure. And where could people hear more about your work and contact you? Tell.
So LinkedIn is the best place. So my page where I'm Carlo Rivis, and on LinkedIn is where I updated about what I'm doing right now and to be in touch with me easily.
Thank you. So it's been a pleasure talking to you, and it's been lots of fun. And I'm so happy that people were interested in ask questions. And thank you, Ilan and Kandor and Ole, for asking your question and taking part. And to all of you change makers out there, thank you for joining me. And if you want to learn more about what I do and my work, go and visit invincibleinnovation.com. And I'll see you next week with another innovative, insightful talk. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. I'm Mazor Kario, and you've been listening to the Invincible Innovation Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, invincibleinnovation.com, where you can learn more about our programs and my book, Innovating Through Chaos. I'll be waiting for you next week in our next episode. Thank you for listening.